Good evening, Beezy Bee, and welcome to Sleep Better Podcast by Beezy Beez Honey, where we share special sleep stories to help you sleep better. Let's take a moment to acknowledge the incredible dedication and care you pour into each day. Your commitment to nurturing others is truly admirable, but tonight, this time is solely for you. It's your turn to be cared for, to be soothed, and to embrace the tranquility that you so richly deserve. Imagine for a moment the gentle embrace of serenity, wrapping around you like a soft, comforting blanket. Tonight is about letting go of the day's worries and immersing yourself in a world of peacefulness and rest. Remember, Beezy Bee, caring for yourself is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Your well-being is the foundation from which you can continue to spread kindness and compassion to the world. As you find yourself in your cozy haven, I invite you to make yourself as comfortable as possible. Whether it's nestling into your favorite chair or lying down in your bed, enveloped by soft, welcoming sheets, find that spot that feels just right. Feel the support beneath you, holding you, offering a place of rest and relaxation. This is your sanctuary, a place where calmness and peace reign supreme. Now, let's focus on your breath, a simple yet profound tool that bridges the mind and body. Gently close your eyes if you haven't already and turn your attention inward. Take a slow, deep breath in, feeling the air fill your lungs, bringing with it a sense of calm and clarity. Hold it there for just a moment, and then release it slowly, letting all the stress and tension melt away with your exhale. Feel your shoulders relax, your body soften, and your thoughts quieten with each breath. With each inhale, imagine drawing in tranquility and peace. With each exhale, envision releasing any lingering thoughts or concerns. Let your breathing become a gentle rhythm, a soothing lullaby that whispers of relaxation and comfort. As you continue to breathe deeply and evenly, allow my words to float through your mind, painting a picture of a serene and enchanting world, just waiting for you to explore. This story, crafted especially for you, Beezy Bee, is a journey to a place where dreams blend seamlessly with reality, where the mind finds solace and the spirit is gently lulled into a state of blissful repose. So settle in, Beezy Bee. Let the world outside fade away as we embark on this peaceful journey together. Let's begin. In a realm where the whispers of magic still echoed through the ancient forests and over the rolling hills, there existed a kingdom caught between the waning enchantments of old and the steady march of a more mundane, modern era. This was a land where fairy tales were born, and yet as years passed, the vivid spark of magic that once illuminated every corner of the kingdom was slowly dimming, like the last flickers of starlight at dawn. In a small, unassuming village on the outskirts of this mystical kingdom lived Evelina, a young woman whose heart was as intertwined with the rhythms of nature as the roots of the great oaks were to the earth. Evelina possessed a secret gift, a rare remnant of the old magic. She could communicate with plants. Whispering to the willows, listening to the lilies, she found solace and companionship amongst the green and growing things that others simply passed by without a second glance. Evelina's father, Aldrich, was an alchemist of once great renown. His potions and elixirs had been sought after by nobles far and wide. But as the world changed, so too did the desires and beliefs of its people. Alchemy, once revered as a noble art, was now viewed by many as mere trickery, a relic of a bygone age. The family's once comfortable livelihood had dwindled, leaving them to face the ever-tightening grip of financial troubles. Their cottage, nestled at the edge of the Whispering Woods, was filled with the remnants of Aldrich's former glory. Shelves lined with dusty tomes, flasks, and beakers of all shapes and sizes, and an air perpetually scented with the faint trace of mysterious herbs and flowers. Evelina often helped her father in his workshop, her innate understanding of plants lending a subtle but vital magic to his work. Each day, Evelina would wander into the Whispering Woods, losing herself in the ancient serenity of the trees. She would speak to the plants, her voice a melodic whisper that seemed to make the very air around her shimmer with a gentle luminosity. The plants would respond in their own way, leaves rustling, flowers blooming, vines reaching out as if to embrace her. It was in these moments that Evelina felt most alive, most connected to the world around her. Despite the hardships they faced, Evelina and her father shared a bond of love and resilience. Aldrich, seeing the struggle within their small community, continued to toil at his alchemy, hoping to once again create something that could bring a spark of wonder, a reminder of the magic that once was, back into the lives of the people. But the world outside their village was changing, and soon, Evelina and Aldrich would find themselves caught in the currents of a destiny much larger than either could have imagined. For beyond the edges of the Whispering Woods in the heart of the fading kingdom, a story was unfolding, a story that would entwine the fate of a beastly lord, an ancient curse, and the last vestiges of a magic that refused to be forgotten. In the heart of the fading kingdom, isolated by a forest that whispered of old magic and untold secrets, stood a grand castle, shrouded in an air of forlorn mystery. This was the domain of Lord Auric, a nobleman whose tale was as tragic as it was cautionary. Once a man of breathtaking beauty and noble birth, Auric's heart had become as cold and unyielding as the stone walls of his ancestral home. His arrogance knew no bounds, and he reveled in the power his lineage and appearance bestowed upon him. The downfall of Lord Auric began on a night of opulent festivity, where the castle's halls glittered with the wealth of the kingdom. Amidst the revelry, a cloaked figure, an enchantress in disguise, sought shelter and warmth within the castle's walls. She was met with scorn and ridicule from Auric, her humble appearance drawing his contemptuous gaze. Unbeknownst to Auric, this was a test of character, a chance to exhibit kindness to a stranger in need. In response to his cruelty, the Enchantress revealed her true form, a vision of formidable power and ethereal beauty. She condemned Auric's cold heart and decided to mirror his inner ugliness with an external transformation. With a wave of her hand and a whispered incantation, she cast a spell that would change his life forever. Auric's once admired visage twisted and contorted, his form becoming that of a creature both fearsome and pitiable, half man, half beast. The curse she placed upon him was as cruel as it was clear. Lord Auric must find someone to love him for who he truly was, beyond the monstrous exterior, before the last petal of an enchanted rose fell. If he failed, he would remain a beast forever, a prisoner in his own castle, a relic of his own vanity. To deepen the weight of his solitude, the Enchantress gave Auric a magical mirror. This mirror showed not his own reflection, for he could not bear the sight of his cursed form, but the outside world he once scorned. Through this mirror, Auric watched the seasons change and years pass, his heart growing ever more despondent as the petals of the enchanted roses slowly wilted. The castle itself fell under the spell's sway. The once vibrant halls turned cold and shadowed, its inhabitants transformed into living objects, each bearing a semblance of their former selves. They too suffered under the curse, their fate inextricably linked to Arik's. As the years turned to decades, legends grew around the cursed castle and its beastly lord. Travelers avoided the forest, and tales of a monstrous creature lurking in the shadows became part of the local lore. Inside his castle, Lord Arik succumbed to despair, the enchanted rose a constant reminder of his failing hope and the ticking clock of his curse. But fate has a way of intertwining lives in the most unexpected of ways. While Arik languished in his enchanted prison, Evelina, a young woman with a gift for speaking to plants, lived in blissful ignorance of the cursed nobleman's existence. Little did she know that her path was destined to cross with Arik's, and that her presence in his life would ignite a glimmer of hope in the darkness of his curse. The story of Lord Arik and Evelina was one set in motion by the forces of magic, a tale of redemption, love, and the transformative power of compassion. In the heart of the enchanted realm where magic still lingered, their destinies were about to entwine, rewriting the story of the cursed lord and the enchanted rose. Evelina's father, Aldrich, a man whose life was dedicated to the alchemical arts, ventured into the heart of the Whispering Woods. His purpose was clear: to gather rare ingredients that bloomed only under the light of a crescent moon, ingredients that he hoped would restore some semblance of prosperity to their dwindling fortunes. The forest, alive with the murmurs of ancient magic, seemed to watch him, its shadows dancing in the moonlight. Deep within the woods, where the trees grew tall and the air held the scent of forgotten enchantments, Aldrich found himself in a part of the forest he could not recall ever having seen. There, hidden amongst the thicket, stood a castle, its spires reaching towards the sky like the fingers of a forgotten god. The castle, veiled by the curse and lost to time, exuded a sense of foreboding, its once magnificent walls now overrun with creeping vines. Drawn by a curious allure, Aldrich wandered into the castle's neglected garden. Amidst the overgrowth, he discovered a rose bush, its petals of vibrant crimson against the backdrop of decay. Thinking of Evelina and her love for nature, he reached out and plucked a single rose, unaware of the significance of his action. The moment the rose was taken, a shudder ran through the castle. This act of thievery had triggered the curse's defense, awakening its master from his solitude. Lord Arik, the beastly nobleman, emerged from the shadows, his appearance as terrifying as the legends foretold. With a roar that echoed through the forest, he confronted Aldrich, his eyes burning with a fury born of decades of isolation and despair. Aldrich, realizing the gravity of his mistake, pleaded for mercy, explaining his intentions and his desperate situation. But Arik, hardened by years of bitterness, saw only another trespasser, another reminder of the curse that bound him. In his wrath, he imprisoned Aldrich within the castle's depths, the rose now a symbol of the alchemist's folly. Back in the village, Evelina sensed a disturbance in the natural world, a discordant note that resonated with her father's essence. Her connection with nature, a gift she had long cherished, now guided her towards him. She set out into the Whispering Woods, her resolve as strong as the ancient oaks that sheltered her path. Evelina's journey through the forest was a testament to her determination. The woods, aware of her unique bond with nature, seemed to part before her, revealing a path that led to the hidden castle. As she approached, the castle loomed like a sentinel, its eerie presence a stark contrast to the vibrant life of the forest. Undeterred, Evelina entered the castle's grounds, her heart guided by the love for her father. She found the garden and the rose bush, its missing bloom a silent testament to her father's actions. It was here that Lord Auric found her, his beastly form emerging from the shadows, his gaze fixed upon the young woman who dared to trespass into his cursed domain. Their encounter was a clash of worlds, the isolated, tormented lord and the compassionate, nature-bound maiden. Evelina, undaunted by Auric's fearsome appearance, demanded her father's release. Her bravery and her connection to the natural world stirred something within Auric, a flicker of curiosity, a glimmer of the man he once was. In a moment of unexpected mercy, Auric agreed to a deal. He would release Aldrich on one condition, that Evelina would stay in his place. Evelina, driven by love and a sense of responsibility for her father's plight, accepted the terms, sealing her fate and stepping into the heart of the enchanted castle. Thus began Evelina's stay in the cursed castle, a place where time seemed to stand still and where the shadows of a forgotten curse lingered in every corner. In this place of enchantment and sorrow, Evelina would come to unravel the mystery of the beastly lord and the curse that bound him, a journey that would change both their lives in ways neither could have imagined. In the dimly lit hall of the castle, Evelina stood resolute before Lord Auric, her eyes unflinching and filled with a mixture of fear and determination, met his. She had come to confront the beast to save her father, but what she found was a creature mired in loneliness and despair, his formidable appearance masking a deep-seated sorrow. Evelina's voice, clear and unwavering, broke the silence. "Release my father," she implored, "and I will stay in his place." Her proposal hung in the air, a bold offer that challenged the very foundations of Auric's isolated existence. Lord Auric, taken aback by her bravery, felt a stirring of respect for Evelina. She was unlike anyone he had encountered since the curse befell him. In a moment of clarity, he saw in her not just a potential means to break his curse, but a kindred spirit, equally trapped by circumstances beyond her control. With a heavy heart, he agreed to her terms, releasing Aldrich but binding Evelina to the castle. As her father departed with a mix of relief and guilt, Evelina began to explore her new confines, the castle that was now both her prison and her home. It was during these explorations that she encountered the castle's other residents, the enchanted staff. They were not mere objects, but people who had been transformed by the same curse that afflicted Auric. Each one, from the solemn grandfather clock to the lively teapot, had their own story, their own sorrows and joys. The staff, despite their altered forms, welcomed Evelina with warmth and kindness. They had not seen a new face in many years and were eager to interact with someone still fully human. Through them, Evelina learned about life in the castle, about the curse, and most importantly, about Auric. Not the beast, but the man he once was, and the man he could be again. In the days that followed, Evelina and Auric slowly started to understand each other. Their interactions, initially strained and awkward, gradually became moments of genuine connection. Evelina would often find Auric in the castle's vast library, where they shared their love for books and stories. In these shared moments, Evelina saw glimpses of Auric's humanity, buried beneath the beastly exterior. As Evelina learned about the curse from both Auric and the enchanted staff, she began to understand the depth of Auric's despair. He was not just a beast in form, but also in spirit, worn down by years of isolation and the fading hope of redemption. The enchanted rose, its petals slowly falling as time marched on, was a constant reminder of the curse's looming finality. Evelina, with her innate compassion and understanding, began to see the challenge before her, not just the breaking of the curse, but the healing of a soul long lost to darkness. She realized that the key to Arik's salvation lay not in the enchantments that bound him, but in the very human emotions that still flickered within his heart. In the enchanted castle, where each day was a step closer to the last petal falling, Evelina and Arik embarked on a journey of understanding and healing. It was a journey that would test their spirits and their hearts as they navigated the complexities of the curse and the shadows of the past. In this place where magic and reality intertwined, a new chapter in their lives was just beginning. A chapter filled with hope, challenge, and the possibility of a love that could transcend the deepest of curses. As the days melded into weeks within the secluded confines of the enchanted castle, Evelina and Lord Arik found themselves weaving a tapestry of companionship from the most unlikely threads. Their time together, initially marked by caution and uncertainty, gradually blossomed into a period of mutual discovery and subtle transformation. Evelina, with the innate grace of a soul deeply connected to the living world, brought a nurturing warmth to the cold stone walls of Arik's domain. Her daily wanderings in the castle's forgotten gardens breathed life into the withered flora. She spoke to the plants in hushed, lilting tones, and under her care the garden began to reclaim its lost splendor. Arik, observing from the shadowed balconies, was captivated by this display of harmony between Evelina and nature. It reminded him of a time when his own life was not overshadowed by the beast he had become. In the afternoons, Evelina and Arik would often find themselves in the castle's vast library, a relic-filled room where the air was thick with the scent of aged paper and forgotten tales. Here, amidst the chronicles of yore, they found a shared sanctuary. Evelina's curiosity about the world was insatiable, and Arik, with centuries of knowledge, became her willing guide. He showed her maps of distant lands, spoke of the history that shaped nations, and revealed the artistic treasures of ages past. Evelina's keen interest in art rekindled Arik's own dormant passion. He began to paint again, his brushstrokes capturing the essence of the world he once knew, and the new one he was seeing through Evelina's eyes. She became his muse, and in turn, she saw the man behind the beast, a soul yearning for expression and understanding. Through these shared experiences, Evelina taught Arik the virtues of kindness and compassion, qualities he had once possessed but had lost in the shadow of his curse. She showed him the joy that could be found in simple acts, the beauty in empathy and the strength in vulnerability. In Evelina's presence, Arik found himself softening, his harsh exterior giving way to the forgotten warmth within. For Evelina, the initial fear and apprehension that accompanied her arrival at the castle slowly dissolved. As she spent time with Arik, she began to see the person behind the fearsome facade. She noticed the care with which he treated the smallest of creatures in the garden, the gentle way he handled the delicate pages of ancient books, and the vulnerability in his eyes when he spoke of his past. Their evenings were often spent under the vast canopy of stars in the garden, where they shared stories and dreams. Evelina, with her affinity for the natural world, taught Arik about the stars, the rhythms of nature, and the delicate balance of life. Arik, in turn, shared his experiences of the world, his knowledge weaving fascinating tales that held Evelina spellbound. In these moments, the curse that loomed over Arik seemed a distant storm on the horizon, present but momentarily forgotten. The enchanted rose, with its ever-wilting petals, was a silent witness to their growing bond, a bond forged in the unlikeliest of circumstances. As Evelina and Arik's relationship deepened, so too did their understanding of each other. In the heart of the enchanted castle, a friendship was blossoming, one that brought light to Arik's darkened world and gave Evelina a glimpse into a life marked by both tragedy and beauty. In this unexpected bond, they found a shared solace, a connection that transcended appearances and preconceived notions. It was a bond that slowly, imperceptibly, began to change not only their hearts but also the very fabric of the curse that bound them. As the seasons changed outside the castle walls within them, a new hope was kindling, a hope that perhaps love, in its purest form, could indeed conquer all. As the bond between Evelina and Lord Arik grew, so did Evelina's understanding of the castle and its many enchanted facets. It was during one of her explorations in a secluded chamber long forgotten that she stumbled upon the most magical of all the castle's wonders, a mirror that showed not reflections but glimpses of the outside world. This was the mirror the Enchantress had given Arik, a window to a world he could no longer be a part of. Evelina, drawn by an inexplicable pull, gazed into the mirror. Instead of her own reflection, she saw images of her village, her home, and, most heartbreakingly, her father. Aldrich appeared much older and frailer than she remembered, his face etched with worry and sorrow. The sight of her father, struggling without her, pierced Evelina's heart. She realized the true extent of her family's plight and the impact her absence had on them. Torn between two worlds, Evelina grappled with a newfound conflict. Her heart ached to return to her family, to be the support they so desperately needed. Yet another part of her was drawn to the life she had begun to build in the castle with Arik. She had come to see the gentle soul behind the beastly exterior, and the thought of leaving him, now a friend and confidant, weighed heavily on her. This internal struggle did not go unnoticed by Arik. He had grown to care for Evelina, her presence a light in his long darkened world. Seeing her so distressed stirred feelings in him that he had long thought dead, feelings of empathy, of love. In a moment of selflessness, Arik offered Evelina the freedom to leave the castle and return to her family. "Evelina," Arik began, his voice heavy with emotion, "you have brought warmth and hope into this cursed life of mine. I cannot bear to see you so torn and unhappy. You are free to leave, to return to your family, should you wish it." Evelina, stunned by Arik's offer, saw the sincerity in his eyes and heard the unspoken sacrifice in his words. His offer to let her go despite the curse in his feelings was the most selfless act she had witnessed. In that moment, Evelina saw the true depth of Arik's transformation, from a beast to a man capable of profound love and compassion. The decision that lay before Evelina was heart-wrenching. She pondered the life she had left behind, her father's loving embrace, the familiarity of her village, and the responsibilities she held towards her family. Yet she also considered the life she had found in the castle, the bond she had formed with Arik, the enchanted world they shared, and the feelings that had begun to blossom in her heart. As she deliberated, Evelina realized that her journey in the castle had changed her in ways she could never have imagined. She had discovered strength she never knew she possessed, and had formed a connection that transcended appearances and circumstance. In Arik, she had found not just a friend, but a kindred spirit. Evelina's choice was not just about where she belonged, but also about where her heart truly lay. It was a choice between the life she had always known and the unexpected love she had found in the most unlikely of places. In the heart of the enchanted castle, with the last petals of the enchanted rose slowly withering, Evelina stood at a crossroads, her decision holding the power to alter both her destiny and Evelina, standing at the crossroads of her heart, made the difficult decision to return to her family. Lord Auric, true to his word, granted her leave, his heart heavy with the unspoken fear that her departure might seal his fate. As Evelina stepped out of the castle, the only home she had known in what felt like a lifetime, she carried with her not just the memories of her time there, but also an aching heart, torn between duty and affection. Back in her village, Evelina's return was met with joy and relief. Her father, Aldrich, enveloped her in a warm embrace, his eyes brimming with tears at the sight of his beloved daughter returned. The village, though still struggling under the weight of hard times, seemed brighter to Evelina, yet she could not shake off the sense of incompleteness that clung to her. As days passed, Evelina tried to settle back into her life, aiding her father with his alchemical experiments and tending to their small garden. However, the vibrant conversations with Eric, the enchanting evenings in the castle, and the sense of belonging she had felt there haunted her. She realized that part of her remained in the castle, with a beast who was so much more than his cursed exterior. It was during a visit to the local market that Evelina overheard a troubling rumor. The Enchantress who had cursed Lord Auric, a figure of shadow and power, was rumored to be seeking the eradication of the last vestiges of magic in the kingdom. Evelina's heart raced as she understood the magnitude of this threat. Not only was Auric in danger, but so was she, along with all those who still harbored the ancient magic within them. The realization of the Enchantress's intentions ignited a fire within Evelina. She could no longer remain idle, caught in the throes of her dilemma. She had to act, not just for Auric, but for the legacy of magic that had been a part of her identity since birth. Her decision to confront the Enchantress was not made lightly. It was a decision born of courage and a newfound understanding of her place in the world. With her father's reluctant blessing, and armed with an amalgam of alchemical potions and her innate connection to nature, Evelina set out on her journey back to the castle. Her resolve was strengthened by the knowledge of what was at stake: the life of the man she had grown to love and the fate of the magic that coursed through the kingdom. As she traversed the once familiar path through the whispering woods, Evelina grappled with the turmoil in her heart. She acknowledged, perhaps for the first time, the depth of her feelings for Auric. He was no longer just the cursed lord of a forgotten castle. He was the man who had shown her the true meaning of strength, kindness, and love. Upon reaching the castle, Evelina found it shrouded in an ominous aura, a stark contrast to the warmth she had come to associate with it. The enchanted rose, its petals dwindling, seemed to reflect her own sense of urgency. Evelina's arrival was met with astonishment and relief by both Auric and the enchanted staff. Her return, a glimmer of hope in the encroaching darkness, bolstered the spirits of everyone in the castle. She shared with them the dire news of the Enchantress's intentions, solidifying their resolve to stand against the looming threat. Together, Evelina and Auric began to prepare for the confrontation with the Enchantress. Their plan was fraught with peril, but they were united in their purpose, their bond strengthened by the challenges they faced. As they worked side by side, their hearts whispered what they had yet to say aloud: that their love was a force to be reckoned with, a light capable of overcoming the darkest of curses. Evelina's return to the castle was met with a scene of chaos and turmoil. The Enchantress, a figure of malevolent grace, had launched her assault, her powers threatening to tear down the ancient walls of Auric's ancestral home. The air crackled with the raw energy of her magic, a stark contrast to the serene beauty Evelina had come to associate with the castle. Auric, in his beastly form, stood defiant at the forefront, battling the Enchantress's conjured creatures with ferocious strength. The enchanted staff, loyal to their lord, fought bravely, their transformed states belying the courage that burned within them. Evelina, armed with her father's alchemical concoctions and her innate connection to nature, joined the fray. Her presence bolstered the defenders, her determination shining like a beacon in the darkened halls. Side by side, Evelina and Auric fought, their movements a dance of desperation and resolve. The Enchantress, seeing Evelina, recognized in her the last vestige of the kingdom's ancient magic. She unleashed a torrent of dark energy towards Evelina, intent on extinguishing the threat she posed. Evelina, undeterred, countered with her own powers, her connection to the living world manifesting in a protective embrace around her and Auric. As the battle raged, Evelina's heart beat with a singular purpose: to save Auric, the castle, and the remnants of magic that lingered in the kingdom. She fought with a strength she never knew she possessed, a strength born of love and conviction. In the midst of the chaos, Evelina found herself face to face with the Enchantress. The air around them hummed with the power of their confrontation, a clash of old magic and new resolve. The Enchantress, with a sneer of contempt, declared the futility of Evelina's efforts, confident in her impending victory. But Evelina, standing her ground, spoke words of unwavering truth. She declared her love for Auric, her belief in the power of redemption, and her conviction that love could break even the darkest of curses. Her words, pure and heartfelt, resonated through the castle, reaching the depths of Auric's soul. As Evelina professed her love, a miraculous transformation unfolded. The beastly form that had been Auric's prison began to fade, the curse unraveling under the weight of Evelina's confession. Auric, emerging from the shadow of the beast, stood before Evelina in his true form, his eyes reflecting the love that had saved him. The Enchantress, enraged by the breaking of her curse, gathered her power for a final devastating blow. The castle trembled under the force of her wrath, the very foundations threatening to crumble. In that critical moment, Auric and Evelina stood united, their love a shield against the darkness. With the combined strength of Evelina's magic and Auric's newfound freedom, they channeled a burst of pure, radiant energy towards the Enchantress. The collision of powers was blinding, a crescendo of light and shadow that echoed through the kingdom. When the light faded, the Enchantress was gone, her power finally broken. The castle, though scarred, still stood, a testament to the enduring strength of its defenders. In the aftermath of the battle, Evelina and Auric, surrounded by the relieved and grateful members of the enchanted staff, reveled in their hard-won victory. The curse was broken, the threat of the Enchantress vanquished, and the magic of the kingdom preserved. Evelina's love for Auric had not only saved him, but had also brought a new dawn to a land long shrouded in darkness. In the wake of the Enchantress's defeat, a profound sense of peace settled over the castle and its surroundings. The curse that had long shrouded the kingdom in despair was finally broken, its chains of sorrow and isolation shattered by the power of Evelina and Auric's love. As the first rays of dawn pierced the remnants of darkness, a miraculous transformation occurred. Auric, now permanently freed from his beastly form, stood tall and whole in his human guise. His eyes, once filled with anguish, now sparkled with the joy of a man reborn. The staff, loyal servants who had suffered under the Enchantress's curse, rejoiced as they, too, were restored to their human forms. The castle echoed with laughter and tears of happiness, a stark contrast to the silence that had once reigned. The defeat of the Enchantress had far-reaching effects beyond the castle walls. Throughout the kingdom, magic, which had been waning under her dark influence, began to flourish once more. The forests grew lusher, the rivers sparkled clearer, and the air itself seemed to hum with newfound vitality. Evelina's connection to nature deepened, her abilities blossoming alongside the rejuvenated magic of the land. In the village, Evelina's return with Arik as a human lord was met with astonishment and joy. Her father, Aldrich, embraced them both, his heart swelling with pride and relief at the sight of his daughter, the savior of their realm. The villagers, who had long whispered tales of the cursed lord and his enchanted castle, welcomed their lord with open arms, their fears allayed by Evelina's presence at his side. Evelina and Arik, their bond forged in adversity and sealed in love, became a symbol of hope and unity for the kingdom. Their love, transcending the boundaries of curses and prejudices, brought about an era of peace and prosperity. The castle, once a place of dread, opened its doors as a haven of learning and culture, attracting scholars, artists, and curious souls from far and wide. Under Arik's just and compassionate rule, and with Evelina's wisdom and kindness, the kingdom experienced a renaissance of sorts. The arts flourished, old traditions were revived, and new ones were born. The magic of the realm, now free from the taint of the Enchantress, wove itself into the daily lives of its people, a reminder of the beauty and wonder that had almost been lost. Evelina and Arik's love continued to grow, each day a celebration of their journey together. Their story, a testament to the enduring power of love and redemption, was told and retold, a beacon of light for future generations. In the heart of the kingdom, where magic danced in the air and hope bloomed in abundance, Evelina and Arik stood hand in hand, gazing out at the land they had helped heal. They had not just survived the darkness, they had transformed it into a story of light, love, and a new beginning. As the seasons turned, the kingdom of Arik and Evelina flourished, a testament to their enduring love and the magic that wove through their lives. The culmination of their journey was celebrated in a wedding that symbolized more than just the union of two hearts. It represented the harmonious blending of nature and humanity, of old magic and new beginnings. The ceremony, held in the rejuvenated gardens of the castle, was a spectacle of natural beauty and enchanted elegance. Flowers bloomed in abundance, their vibrant colors and sweet scents creating a tapestry of life that mirrored the joy of the occasion. The people of the kingdom, along with the creatures of the forest, gathered to witness the union, their presence a reminder of the unity that Evelina and Arik had fostered. Evelina, radiant in a gown that seemed woven from the very essence of the forest, walked down the aisle, her path lined with blossoms that whispered blessings. Arik, looking every bit the noble lord he was, stood waiting, his eyes brimming with love and admiration. As they exchanged vows, the magic in the air pulsed with their emotions, a tangible manifestation of the love that had triumphed over darkness. In the days that followed their union, Evelina used her gift to aid the kingdom. Her connection with nature allowed her to heal lands that had been barren, to converse with the plants and animals, and to bring a deeper understanding of the natural world to the people. Under her guidance, gardens bloomed in every corner of the kingdom, forests regained their ancient majesty, and harmony was restored between the natural world and its human inhabitants. Arik, with Evelina by his side, ruled with wisdom and fairness. His transformation from a beast to a compassionate leader became a story told across the lands, inspiring others to look beyond appearances and seek the truth that lies within. The castle, once a symbol of fear, became a beacon of learning and culture, drawing in those who sought knowledge and beauty. Together, Evelina and Arik reflected on their journey. They had faced their own fears and the shadows of the past, had overcome great trials, and had emerged stronger and more united. Their love story, while unique in its magic and trials, spoke to the universal truths of love, acceptance, and the power of compassion. Their union, born from the intertwining of two very different worlds, stood as a testament to the idea that love could indeed transform the world. It was a love that had broken curses, bridged divides, and brought together the essence of nature and the spirit of humanity. In the peaceful realm that thrived under their care, Evelina and Arik's story became a legend, a tale of true love's power to conquer all. And as they walked hand in hand through the gardens of their kingdom, they knew that their story would live on, a beacon of hope and a reminder of the magic that resides in the heart of every living being.